2025.
Stand up. And they are off.
It's a new season.
Evie Richards attacks. Evie Richards wins.
It's 2025.
Koretzky and Blevins, elbow to elbow. Blevins leads it. Blevins gets the job done in Araxá.
This is 2025.
Hello and welcome back to Araxá for the final race of the day, the first round of the Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series, the UCI World Cup Cross Country Olympic for the elite men. Getting ready to go here. First of back-to-back weekends of racing here from Araxá. Crowds packing in as we speak. Riders making their way to the grid. -25°C. Temperatures have dropped a little bit, as has the humidity. Clouds have rolled in. No rain predicted as yet, but you never can tell. Let's check out the highlights though. From the short track yesterday. False start from Adrian Boischet. No advantage was gained, so no penalty given. Christopher Blevins led them into the first few turns. Simon Andreasen likes this place and was right at the front in the blue and white of the European Continental Champion. Andreasen won this XCO race last season, will be one of the favourites today. Victor Koretzky, though, in the white and rainbow stripes of the UCI Short Track World Champion. Always a danger man here, as he is in any short track race. Had this little bobble towards the end of the race, and then somehow managed to ride himself straight back on and into the lead within half a lap of that, of being completely off the bike, leaving him to battle his teammate Christopher Blevins on the last lap. Blevins attacked up the really steep climb, and watch this. Bar-to-bar stuff from the two Specialized factory racing riders. Blevins got bumped wide, but it actually worked better for him and sprinted to victory. His first since round one cross-country Olympic Mayr-Pora last season. Christopher Blevins from Koretzky, from Matisse Zaro, superb ride from him. Then it was Litcher and Saru. Some of the young guns hitting home, but a rider starting his 21st UCI World Cup season for Scott Schramm MTB Racing is none other than the GOAT himself. Nino Schurter is back in Brazil.
Once again, the all-time World Cup leader, Nino Schurter!
Yeah, it was just one of those days. I already could feel in the morning everything is perfect. I feel great. I recovered well, and it's a track I love.
Nino Schurter going for his 36th win. Unbelievable.
Yeah, those days get harder for me to take on again, as I'm not the youngest anymore, but in Val di Sole for sure everything came together. I'm super thankful for, I was able to have another day of those last season. And then, Olympics didn't went as I wanted. And from there on, it was more a bit of a struggle towards the end of the season. But yeah, I had a really nice off-season, took a bit of a longer break. And started already racing with winning the Cape Epic. So can't complain about my time since last World Cup, Lenzerheide for sure going to be my big highlight of the season. I have so many great memories to this place, winning World Championships in 2018, breaking the records in World Cup victories. It's a bit difficult, like coming like straight from Epic, so I'm not 100% sure where I'm standing right now, but I had really good training results. So if everything comes together, I for sure want to get on the podium here and hopefully start the season strong and battle all at the front.
Nino Schurter heads to the front line of things for the 21st season. Well, Josh Carlson has been out on course. Brace yourselves.
Hey, welcome back to 2025. Carlson on course this year is going to be a bit different, and we're going to test out every single race bike of the entire UCI Mountain Bike World Series. For round one here in Araxá, we've got the Cannondale Factory Racing Rig. The course here at 24 was a standout, and we cannot wait to see what this year's edition has on offer. Let's get amongst it now. There are plenty of technical routes to catch you off guard just as your heart rate starts to escalate. So if the colour of my face is anything to go by, this is the hardest part of the course. You're at the top of the climb. It is super steep. The humidity and the heat is just boiling you from the inside. And from this point, you've got all these decisions to make. Not only do you have to get up here and hold your position, but there's trees, there's a line here, a line on the left. That line in the middle then splits into two, which splits into two on the left and two on the right. There's so much going on in this one section, and this is where your heart rate is at its max. This descent through here is so gnarly. So this section here, as they come out of that upper descent, you get to like somewhat take a rest, but this is super technical through here. There's roots everywhere and logs and some of the biggest double jumps on the course. Now that section feeds the pivotal point of the race. This steep little climb here, as you rip back up, you got a couple of slippery little uphill corners, but this is so steep and critical to this entire next section, the famous rocks and supercross section of Araxá. This is so brutal, but you must be in the right position, because if you get the wrong position here, it is detrimental the whole way down the next supercross section. Let's go and check it out now. Through the rock garden, off the step down. So from the rocks, we come into this famous supercross section, a huge part of our 24 course, and it's back for 25. We've got a massive whole line of double jumps here, and what makes these difficult is that they're blind, and this is at the end of the lap. This feeds the speed all the way to the finish. It's a bit scary if you don't have the skill set to make these double jumps, but as the boys show off a little bit of style, if you have that skill set in the bag, it is amazing. It's so good to watch, and it's a lot of fun, and it takes you all the way home to wrap up our lap here in Araxá. Wow, what a track here in Araxá to open our 2025 Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series. All the favourites that we know and love and more. Stay tuned for the racing. We'll see you trackside.
There you go. One man channeling all of Australia's enthusiasm. Getting ready to hear now from Specialized Racing's Christopher Blevins.
Having a cracking weekend. You did well on the short track yesterday. How confident are you feeling today?
Yeah, good. It's a lot of laps out there. As you saw in the women's race, it shakes up quite a bit. So, you know, I'll be patient out there, be fluid, and yeah, but I'm feeling good this morning.
Where do you think you're going to be able to capitalize?
I think it'll be a bunch of chipping away at it, and then it'll for sure be a biggish group, you know, small time gaps in the last two laps, so hopefully I have the legs for that.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Blevins sounding positive ahead of this one, as well he might. Was superb in the short track. Can he do the double? welcome to those who have just joined us. What a time to arrive. Nino Schurter taking on his 21st UCI World Cup season of racing. Gets ready to head to the front row. The GOAT is here. Got a win in the cross-country Olympic last season. Fancy's doing a bit more than that this season. Val de Sole was good. Araxá may just be even better. Luca Braido for Willie Vittoria. The big Italian. Go back a couple of seasons now for his last wins. Would desperately like to get back on the top step. The Italian national champion. One of the most powerful riders out there. Simon Andreasen. New team, same Simon. Won here last time out with that mid-air overtake. Extremely effective around this place. It suits his skill set down to the ground. Watch for him to be at the front. Jordan Sarrou, French national champion on the French team, BMC Racing. Sarrou, a new fowler this off-season. Another rider desperately hoping to get back to winning ways. What a better place to do it. There we go. Signal to his new family back home. Thomas Lichter. Veteran Swiss racer. Gets better every season. Could this be the one where he makes the jump? But one of the most talked about riders in the pro paddock, Matisse Aro, proven in the short track yesterday that last season wasn't a flash in the pan. New team, same coaching staff, Maxime Marot's prodigy. But when you talk about fast Frenchmen, no one is faster than Victor Koretzky. Silver at the Paris Olympic Games last season. Short track world champion, short track overall title winner. Not too shabby in the longer format either. Victor Koretzky takes to the front row. But it was this man, his Specialized Factory Racing teammate, Christopher Blevins, who took the win in the short track World Cup. Got to go back around about 12 months for his last cross-country Olympic win. That's not to say he couldn't do it again here today. Blevins out-victored Victor yesterday. Was confident, was aggressive. What is Chris Blevins version 2.0 going to be like today? Cross-country Olympic distance. My name's Rick McLaughlin. Thank you for joining us for this one. Proud to say, joined in the booth by none other than a three-time Olympian, Ollie Beckinsale. Ollie, if the rest of today's race is anything to go by, you and I are going to need everything we can get to get through this one.
I'm going to need a lie down later, that is 100%.
Maybe a Caparino or two and then a lie down.
Like I said, that women's race, a mixture of old favourites and new faces getting the top five, and I think we're going to see the same in the men's.
Here we go, they're about to go under starters' orders. Wait for the red lights, then they will go green once the starting pistol's fired on this UCI World Cup season. And they are off in racing in Araxá. And it's Nino Schurter with a really strong start down the right-hand side. Simon Andreasen, though, in the green of Arbea, leads them off the line, and a huge crash further back. Absolute carnage further back down the field. We'll need to see a replay of that one. In the meantime, though,
a bad stop for Matisse Aro as well. Missed his foot, didn't clip in as cleanly as he would like, drifted back into the teens. And a big scrap. We've got this long, fast section, but everybody wants to be in that top 10 for the first technical climb.
Just as we saw in the under-23 men's field, riders down on the deck. As far as I can see from our commentary booth window, everyone back up on their feet. We'll bring you a replay of that one, but for the time being, let's rejoin the race proper and find out just where the pinch points are going to form on this first lap.
Yeah, it's going to be really fast. Last year, remember, we saw Christopher Blevins on this very section go over the handlebars, hitting that curb.
Christopher Blevins, who then set the unofficial record for most overtakes in a UCI World Cup race, is currently leading this one.
He's made amends, that's for sure.
He's cut further than he did last year, that's for certain, yeah.
Up that inside line, 25% on that corner.
And this is where we see pile-ups, generally speaking. There we go, it's started already. Is that Riley Amos getting in amongst it?
Big snarler, but Badari avoiding it. Washi, Aldridge all coming around this outside spark move.
Tomac Rio involved in that crash. We're hearing early doors. It's currently Blevins from Koretzky, from Andreasen, from Nino Schurter. We're just hearing Joshua Dubois also involved in that pile-up. Cannot buy luck in Brazil, it would seem. Joshua Dubois, and his season ended here last year.
Yeah, a couple of riders with big results, podiums in the past, but due to last season's ill effect, having to start further back and a victim of that crash.
Martin Vidari up in 8th place as well, one of many people's dark horses for this race. Saru in 10th. Here we go, Ollie, talk us through it. What's the bottom of your screen?
Yeah, I'm just looking at this one now. Riders just chopped over. I mean, the bars are so wide, but it ricocheted across the whole course.
And then it went back the other side again as well. See if we can see it better from this angle.
See riders, like I say, it's amazing that there's not a crash at every start of a mountain bike race, but we've seen a couple today.
And you just see it here, there, Jens Sherman's, or Pierre de Foymont, I think that is. Whoa.
Maybe Andre Zink as well, possibly, just getting caught out there.
Tomac Rio involved in that as well. We'll bring you an update as soon as we can from anyone down and injured in that, but yep, shows you how quickly it can happen as they head into this really tricky little route section where it goes hard left around that tree. Schurter goes straight down the middle, Andreasen goes wide.
And Nino Schurter as well, starting off, had a good short track. Front row big grid for him, but third position at the moment. Luca Martin coming through as well.
Luca Martin, the debut rider in elite, up in 6th place currently.
Yeah, current world under-23 champion.
Clever tactics from all those riders at the front, Ollie, getting away early out of this carnage that we're seeing in front of us.
Exactly the same in a women's race. You've just got to get around this first lap, get back down to that start-finish. If you can be in that front group of 10, that's kind of the first mission completed.
The 35th UCI World Cup season well underway here, race number 254. And it started with a bang, huge crash off the start line, but the pace incredibly high, and there are some extremely combative riders at the front of it.
Blevins and Koretzky both pushing on at the front, pushing hard.
Blevins, Koretzky, Schurter, Andreasen, Azaro, Martin, Zanotti, Aldridge, Litcher and Vidari are top 10 by my screens in the booth.
I say not hanging around.
Christopher Blevins looks to be a different animal this season.
Man on a mission. I say winner of the first race last year in Maripora, but he did it in a different fashion. He did it kind of a bit of an underdog, had a bad short track, and then in the race probably used more tactical skill as much as physical skill there.
There's Riley Amos making his debut in the elite as well. Amos currently in 17th place, 7th at the Paris Olympics in the summer. Whoa. So they head into a really technical little descent now.
Yeah, this is, I think, the most difficult descent. We saw Jen Jackson crashing in the women's race down here. Yeah, there's no nice line. It's just all a bit gnarly and a bit messed up with the speed.
Whoa! Koretzky cutting it fine round the outside of that log. And worth hanging on to this shot if we can see when it gets busy down here. Take the light from your eyes. Vidari just almost scrubbing off that gap.
You see some riders going on that far right. We see Matthias Flukinger just coming down that side. A little bit slower touch. The fastest line is straight down the middle, but it's super slippery, sketchy.
Ollie, for those just joining us, worth underlining the point that this place has reset the bar for speed and technicality in cross-country mountain bike racing.
Came here for the second World Cup last year, and I was taken by surprise. I didn't even have to race it, you know, but the riders were like so technical, so intense, so many difficult features. And another one right in front of us now, 2 big gap jumps, really gnarly, really intimidating. But we see so many of the riders, the races so far today, under 23 women, under 23 men and women, all talking about how they've gone home and worked so hard on their tech skills.
Charlie Aldridge in 8th place, but it's his Cannondale factory teammate, Luca Martin, who's ahead of him, 6th place.
And this course here in Araxá, it's almost in 3 parts. It's generally a big climb on the way up with 3 little peaks. Really fast techie descent, lots of features all the way down. And then we've got about 1.5 kilometres of flat road going through the start finish, through the tech zone. What we see in all the races so far, there's always a bit of regrouping. So the riders will come down here, they feel safe. No one wants to take it on and lead it on the flat. The race comes back together and it swells back. Sometimes you might see a group now going back to kind of 10 or 12, and then it fights again every time you hit the climb.
Here we go, up this climb for the first time properly. Specialised factory racing, flying information out from Blevins and Koretzky. Here's their Whoop Live heart rate zone comparison. Pretty much identical. Nothing to choose between these two in Araxá so far this weekend.
What's interesting to see is obviously these guys, first and second in the short track, they know they've got form. They both have gone off really hard in this lap. They looked behind and actually saw they had a little bit of a gap.
Look at Blevins just nose-tapping his way through those doubles.
They've got a proper gap over Nino here. And what would be interesting, if they come down to the flat, there's a chance that they might just put their heads down and go at it and do a whole 9-lap, 2-up time trial.
Charlie Aldridge whipping his way through it. Christopher Blevins, as we've said a couple of times already this weekend, you know, spent over 10 years racing BMX, and that kind of skill that he showed through that jump line, just bumping the front wheel through the doubles.
The skill is ridden now that all these guys can ride these courses, not have a problem. So the difference now is, can you ride it and recover? And that's the difference.
How often do we see it in racing? You know, there's a piece of technology, or there's a track feature or track design that catches people out 1 year, and then by the time they come back to it, everyone has left.
Everyone's raised the bar. We all know what they had to come back to this year. They've worked hard on the tech.
Because it's the first 2 rounds as well. It's not like it's a wild card.
No.
Like, there's a lot of points on the table here. You've got to be good at stuff.
Heard Tamara Maxwell in a post-race interview just saying the biggest thing she worked on this winter was tech skills back at home.
Yep. Nino Schurter then, 5 seconds back off the Waring Specialised riders, leading Simon Andreas and Luca Martin. Bit further back again. Andreas, and you kind of always knew would be involved from the get-go here. Loves this place, but you reckon?
I don't think they're going to wait. I think they're just going to keep driving it. You know, there's enough of a gap there.
Is that Andreasen just motoring his way past Nino Schurter as the Specialised factory racing riders come round to complete the first lap?
They're not hanging around. They're not going to wait for it to regroup. They're going to push on.
No, they've not been invited to the chat group, these two. Andreasen across the line with Schurter in close contention. Luca Martin.
But that lap was an 8:27.
Wow. Luca Martin, referred to by his coach Phil Dixon as the French dynamite. You'd never know what you're going to get, but it's usually explosive.
Yeah, great season in under 23s, stepping up this year. There's a number of key riders that are stepping up from U23s. Luca Martin.
Under 23 world champion, of course, Martin as well. These two, though, know what they're doing. Here they are at the bottom of the climb. Koretzky leads them now onto it.
This is pretty impressive, if I say so myself. I've never seen 2 guys go off the front. You know, we're going way back to the kind of Miguel Martinez, Christophe Dupuis Sundays, where guys could go, right, we're in the same team, we're going to hit the front and just going to smash it.
I love that you've got a Miguel Martinez reference in here. I love it so much. These two,
but on the same team,
absolutely knocking 7 shades out of the rest of the Pro Pack. And you have to say, in that short track yesterday, I mentioned it as they formed up at the start of the race, that Christopher Blevins out Victor Koretzky in many ways. He was assertive when he needed to be. He led when he needed to. He made the race his own.
Koretzky will be kicking himself that penultimate lap. Christopher Blevins launched it. Victor Koretzky found himself too far back, and as a result, got snarled up on the climb, had to make an effort, and I think that cost him the race. But like I say, this is what I expected, a big group to come back together. We've seen it in the other races. But the two Specialized riders, they're writing their own script.
But what's really, really impressive for me, that post-race interview from Christopher Blevins, where he was explaining the tactics, what was going through his mind, the computations, and all whilst his heart rate's through the roof, lactic acid's through the roof, you're dealing with one of the most technical tracks in the sport ever, and you're still making all these computations as a racer.
It's another level.
Well, as I resist the urge to make a boy band reference, Victor Koretzky leads the way ahead of Christopher Blevins. 15 seconds the gap back to Simon Andreasen.
And both these guys, they're technically in the top level of this World Cup field. So they're gonna work well together on the descents. They're not gonna trip each other up. And also on the climbs as well. They're both in top shape.
What do you reckon? Lap about at the front?
Yeah, lap each.
Koretzky.
Yeah, super impressive.
Lees Blevins. Well, Ollie's right. They are indeed super impressive. And that is a tagline you could also apply to the one, the only, Henrik Avancini, who joins us in the booth now. Henrik, are there any words for just how fast these two have gone off?
I'm still in shock. Sorry, guys. I needed those like 10 minutes off because I'm in shock.
It's like they've been shot off the deck of an aircraft carrier. They're just gone.
I never saw that. No, to be honest, I never saw that. Nothing, not even close.
I can't remember this. Last time I remember this is like going back. I said to Miguel Martinez and Dupuy in like Sun Chippy days. Like
at the 90s,
that's
yeah, long races.
That's your second Miguel Martinez reference.
I'm playing some sort of beer drinking game back at home. You know that, right?
17 seconds up. 17. Keep her tight.
Listen. Yeah. 17 seconds. They're getting the call from the side of the track from the Specialized team. 17 seconds. Keep it up.
But as well, when you're riding like this, they're working together. They're not going to trip each other up. Whereas when you're in a group, it's sometimes quite inefficient. You know, one rider gets to the front, gets in the way, they bang bars.
Listen, Mike telling Vidari not to push their teammate, Specialized Factory Racing. So is he worried that Vidari could bring everyone else across that gap?
I think it's just important to let your other rider know that, you know, two of your teammates are up in the trail, and just not like get excited and try to move up and maybe, you know, like help the other guys. But also it could be a move that he gets the message, moves to the front and try to park a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's a brave man who tries to keep a lid on Martin Vidari's. He rides off emotion, that lad, and maybe if they can get him to the front of this pack and just get a little bit of a handbrake on me. We're talking about road racing tactics, really, aren't we?
100%. You can just let it roll. You know, if someone got a breakaway, you don't necessarily put the brakes on or block people, but all you do is just don't push in the corners.
Vidari is in fourth currently. Only Simon Andreasen is ahead of him in that group, so a Specialized can get a rear gunner on the front of that group.
And all he has to do is just roll the descent a little bit, not push maximum, and all of a sudden it's like a second here, second there that they can gain.
Look at these two up this punch of a climb. 20 seconds now. Oh. Come on, boys, is the call. Andreasen, and there is the third Specialized rider in the national champions jersey of Chile, Martin Vidari.
The thing is that it's crucial that the Specialized boys, they stick together at least for a couple of laps, because they need to cooperate with each other now. It's too soon to go all the way on your own.
Yeah, you need to ride to the, if there is a weakest in the pairing, you need to ride to that pace.
Yeah.
Well, bad news from Josh Carlson down there. Apparently Toma Grillo, after that big smash on the start line, he's off with his arm in a sling. Says he thinks that something may be broken in there, not the season start he will have wanted for the Canyon Collective, the big Frenchman. Horrible pile-up right off the start line, but meanwhile, Andreasen currently in third place, the man charged with trying to find an answer to what the Specialized Factory Racing pair of Victor Koretzky and Christopher Blevins are doing out front. Not an easy one to find a solution for.
Yeah, we see Thomas Lichter having had a great short track. He's backing that up. He's fifth place at the moment. And again, Luca Martin, Yuri Zanotti, Luke Moore as well, on top 10 as well. Guys doing real standout rides these first two laps.
We just saw in the video the two Brazilians and the crowd going really, really loud.
Well, we look like we're having, there's issues for Nino Schurter. Nino Schurter down in 41st at the minute.
Wow.
Koretzky not going just as deep as Christopher Blevins on the Whoop Live. Think of that, as I say, always like a fuel tank. The harder you're pumping, the more you're emptying it.
Yeah, on that last steep kick up after the Red Bull descent, you did see that Koretzky just was squeezing Blevins a little bit. I think of the pair at the moment, I think Koretzky looks a little stronger. A little.
Still throwing some style on that jump, Blevins. Such a stylish rider.
Yeah, these are the boys right at the moment. So they're just having fun mid-race, mid-World Cup, off the front.
Okay, let's get an eyeball on the gap then. 23 seconds now. They put another 3 seconds in the second half of this lap.
And the thing is that if they keep adding time, at some point the chasing group, it's going to puck. So
yeah.
They need to do that
Especially
now.
with Vidare acting as a handbrake, you know. This is unbelievable. To have that, to get in the front on that first hill, to fight for it, and then to put this, you know, this is a tactic they would have had in advance, I'm sure, and then to put it into practice.
Blevins just taking the lead now, just giving a little bit of a recovery to Koretzky.
Nino Schurter in 41st at the minute. We're waiting for an update on him. So yeah, not going the goat's way. Blevins just lifted a hand off there. And as you see now, to get into the time trial formation, hands moved to the inside of the handlebars. As we await their arrival past the commentary booth, we're at the start-finish line, so... Whoa. Travelling quick enough to almost pull the advertising board and down with them in their wake. The Specialized pair going like the hammers here. 26 seconds. Let's see what it is at the line. We're looking out the window. Still no sign of the chasing pack. Damage being done early doors here in Araxá. This group needs to get organised quickly, Henrik, and they need to get up the road after them.
That's hard, because when they cross the finish line and they look and they're gonna see like 33 seconds. Wow. That's huge.
Vidare still at the front of this group as well, the Specialized rear gunner.
You can see how big this group's getting now as more riders join, and that just proves that the impetus at the front to push is not there.
No, we're still waiting on an update from Josh Carlson out on course. He says he hasn't been able to see anything too much wrong with Nino so far. Cole Pinchard's way off the back of everyone too. Slightly surprised, the new Cannondale rider. Same with Filippo Colombo, who had a terrible time in the short track yesterday. There's Nino Schurter coming across the line. Looks like he's revving pretty hard. He's still in a big group. Maybe just a crash somewhere out there. Can't see too much dirt on him.
Yeah, I would guess got to be something like a flat or mechanical.
Yeah, 1 minute 9 seconds from this pair back to the GOAT, Nino Schurter. Jens Schermans 15 seconds back now. Third place. So there are inroads into this gap being made.
But that big group came together and there was a big wash machine, riders moving around.
Alex Malakarne.
And Galinsky setting pretty fast lap times. They're probably pushing each other quite a lot and moving to the chasing group.
And I'm guessing it's been a busy week for those two as well. Raced at home in Brazil, Henrik, that brings, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? It brings a lot of support, but it brings a lot of demands on your time, media attention.
It's quite demanding, a lot of like media appointments, activation with fans, but it's a great moment that you're gonna experience not many times in your life, so it's worth to put the extra work. Huge group.
Yeah, it's ginormous, isn't it?
It's massive, yeah. It's really...
Colombo, Forster.
This is kind of what we thought the race would be, except the two Specialized races have gone up the road ahead of it. 16 seconds now. Jens Schermans is recognised as third place by my screen in the booth here.
Filippo Colombo's coming through strong. You know, he's just winding through this front group. He'll be at the front of it soon.
And look at these two back up towards the top of the course now. Towards the old hotel in the big routes section. Both of them on the same line. Pitch perfect. Lap 3 out of 9. Welcome back to Araxá, the opening round of the UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup 2025. And the specialised pairing of Victor Koretzky and Christopher Blevins are setting this race on fire. The two of them have gone off and are now 30 seconds by our clocks in the booth ahead of the chasing pack, who are still very much all together.
That's the thing now. If you see, the riders are starting like touching bars and anticipating breaking points, so you start like throwing energy away, and it's still like lap 3 of 9. So that's the main advantage for the specialized boys, having such a big gap, and they can ride super efficient.
Specialized do have Martin Vidari in 5th place, so right at the front of that group. We have theorized that he may well be acting as a bit of a rear gunner for these two, just keeping tabs on the front of that group and not letting things get away.
Yeah, and the leader of that group chasing at the moment, Max Brandl, Lapierre. I say doing a good ride at the moment.
New team for him.
Yeah, new team, and he's just riding another one of those riders as well that's trying to step up to be that ton of top 10, top 5 guy.
Blevins, the winner of the short track yesterday, won the opening cross-country Olympic distance race last time out in Marapora, Brazil. Didn't have such happy memories of this place. Oh, let's watch the two of them through this descent, though. Blevins leads them. Oh. Koretzky playing with the bike there.
Interesting, these guys going on the outside, which generally acknowledged as a bit slower, but I think it sets them up better for that big jump. And then they can just carry a bit more speed. I think as they're going so fast, they need that little bit of extra turn.
Well, Specialized Racing's...
23 seconds, 23. Come on, boys. Keep on rolling.
23 seconds, keep on rolling. Specialized Racing's performance chef, Alan Murchison, told me over breakfast this morning that one of these two was going to win today. I'm not going to tell you which one. Absolutely pinned down this Red Bull Energy Zone descent.
Watching Charlie Aldridge going down there, I think he's the fastest guy on the track in that particular section.
So fast on every technical feature, always stylish, and such a heavy rider. He's a unit.
Yeah,
he's
a
quite
big guy.
Yeah.
Adrian Boishy, the 4th specialized rider, 18th currently for the 2nd year elite rider. So still at the front end of things. .23 seconds to gap back to Max Brandl in 3rd now. Brandl leads the group. And I tell you what, it'll be fascinating to see how this race shakes out, but this is shots fired for round 2 next weekend. All the teams will be wise to this tactic. Specialized showing an incredible hand here, early doors in Araxá.
I wonder if that just happened or if it was really planned from the beginning.
My bet would be a bit of plan. Hit the front, we know we got good shape, and just push it.
Everything about them seems to have gone up a level this season. You see them at breakfast, they're all in immaculate team kit. You see them on course at the same time. Everything seems to be extremely cohesive. Look at these two putting on a show through the Supercross section. Koretzky jumps the whole bridge like it's nothing.
You say they're just tucking down, the odd little whip, but between the sections, just relaxing, just trying to get some air in the lungs, stretch the legs a little bit.
Blevins looks like he's out for a pedal on a Sunday afternoon on his home trails there, hardly even breathing, Chris Blevins.
They've almost gone back into look like they're doing practice laps together. You know, just piecing it together. Like Henry said, super efficient, not getting in each other's way.
Martin Vidari still marking Simon Andreasen in 4th and 5th.
I think a good opportunity for Martin Vidari as well. He's not expected to push on and chase. He can just sit back, relax a little bit, no pressure, save his energy for the last quarter of the race.
Carlson's reporting in. Riley Amos apparently covered in dirt. He's way back. Let's see if I can just find him on our screens. Yeah, 43rd at the minute, making his debut. Emil, 7th at the Olympics last season. 1 minute 23 back off the lead of this. So Brandl has built a little 5-second cushion ahead of Andreasen.
Yeah, Brandl was fast on that descent that lap. Just getting a little gap. But again, it's not that useful because he's just going to hit the flat and not want to push the wind, and he'll let that big group come back to him. And again, he's gained 5 seconds, but I think he'll just give it away again.
Koretzky cooling himself down, ice pack down the back of the jersey. Has a little look round behind him. There they are, the two of them. Head across the line to start lap 4 out of 9. Still flying information, Specialized factory racing out front.
They had 35 the lap before. Let's see what's the gap now.
If this is a plan, if this is formation flying, then presumably there will be a lap number where the green light will be.
18 seconds to Brandl, so he's pulling it back quite a bit.
And he was able to just keep the gap for the chasing group, and that's crucial. Otherwise, everyone would hit group and block again.
Nina Graf, strong showing for her. There he is.
Julian Galinski, the current Brazilian champion, currently in top 20.
What team?
Team Caloi, Henrique Avancini Racing.
There we go. You can have that one for free.
I try to control my emotion, guys, so please help me.
Koretzky leads Blevins at the front. Galinski, though, he looks to be in good form, Henrik, at the start of this season.
He's in great form. I think he has the form to be way, actually, maybe a top 10 ride or something like that. But it's about having the experience and feeling comfortable on being there. That's I think that's the tricky part. Oh, good move by Azaro there.
It's getting punchy now, and it's Azaro. Matisse Azaro on that new Origin team in the goldie-coloured brown jersey, who's just gone past Vidari.
And we were saying before, in the pre-show, weren't we, about we were expecting the French riders, Sarou,
to be somewhere
and
in the front.
to be strong and at the front. They were kind of predictions that they'd be back on it today.
Azaro, though, he's the real deal, isn't he?
Yeah.
Last season, it wasn't a flash in the pan whatsoever.
And he's not one of those super talented French riders since a junior or something like that. So he's building year by year, and I think that just gives also the motivation of stepping up and getting to the top.
He was on that Rock Rider Ford team last season, and I think he really surprised them. He stepped in. Joshua Dubois got injured in Brazil, and he was more than up for filling his shoes, Ollie.
He wasn't even in Brazil last year. Didn't come to these races. It took him a long time to get into the top 40, to get into the short track. But then when we saw him at the end of the year, banging out that second place in the final.
Very good ride by Luc Moir, the South Africa rider, just outside the top 10 at the moment.
Super stylish through the jump section as well, Moir.
Yeah, now Adrian Brochet, Specialized, coming through strong, 15th now.
Alex Malakarny up in 19th, ahead of Charlie Aldridge. Bit of a gap now, just a couple of bikes starting to form between Koretzky and Blevins. Straight back into it.
But it's a sign. I would say it's a sign. On the steep climb before, I had the feeling that Blevins was just hurting a little bit more than Koretzky.
It was just squeezing.
Yeah.
We're talking margins here, but margins often decide UCI World Cup racing. These two, as we approach the halfway point of this race. Fastest laps last time round. Sorry, total. Lap 1, Koretzky. Blevins, no surprise there. Max Brandl, look at that third lap from him.
Yeah. Really fast on course.
Malakarny up in there, lap 2 as well. Keep working together is the shout from Specialized.
We've just opened that gap again and get 25 seconds to Brandl. Azaro coming being 26, and Vidare still doing that teammate role, just sitting there, getting in the way a little bit. You see Filippo Colombo there, just in front of Sarou in the Swiss champs top. Scott Schramm, He's just coming through, you know, I think he'll build during this race.
Still 4.5 laps to go. Still a long way.
Yeah.
A long way to go here in Araxá, but we are seeing something that we haven't seen for a long, long time in UCI World Cup cross-country racing. Specialised factory racing flying information out front. They built a huge gap early doors here, 26 seconds back to third place. Max Brandl, gap built by Victor Koretzky and Christopher Blevins.
Look at this front group. 12, 14 people.
And interestingly, we heard halfway up this last climb a shout from the team to keep working together.
Oh.
But Koretzky just starting to eke out half a wheel here, half a wheel there over Blevins.
I think we're getting to that point of the race that Koretzky needs to make a call.
Yeah.
Because if he wants to win this race solo with a long shot, he needs like to press on all the way to the end. And he can't wait too much for Blevins.
Yeah.
So he can, obviously it's good if they have like the chance to cooperate with each other, but also he needs to make the decision because the gap, it's just a little bit above 20 seconds.
29 seconds, come on Chris, was the shout. Vidari landing heavy.
It's how deep Brandl came off that jump.
Brandl, Azaro.
Lucas Schwarzbauer coming through a little bit, 10th now coming through in that group. Boischi up to 13th now.
Yeah, Adrian Boischi has a strong race, moving his way through the pack. He'll be nosing towards his teammate Martin Vidari if he keeps this pace up.
Lucas Wickinger as well, 23rd, not having a great day so far. It's coming through screen.
Nino Schurter now in 30th position. Still a similar time frame back off the lead, 1 minute and 8 seconds. So he has passed 10 or so riders. We wait to find out what happened to him at the first lap or two.
A rider in this big group as well. Simon Avendetto and Vilja Vittoria as well. Always a rider that will finish strong.
There are your leaders, Koretzky and Blevins at the top of the track. You can see Koretzky just ducks down out of the wind. And watch this.
Yeah, Blevins so smooth. Just rolling over, tapping the tops of these doubles.
Let's get a look on this gap then.
That's his chance to recover. He's so fast, but also smooth through those, especially the jumps.
Yeah. Yeah, at the moment it almost appears Blevins just got the edge on the descents. Koretzky just got on the climb. They're pretty close, but just tiny little bits.
If you're out there racing, Henrik, which of these two do you want to be? Do you want to be the leader or do you want to be in second place, having a good look at your rival?
I think right now they shouldn't worry about that. So it's just like build the biggest gap you can build right now. That's what Blevins is doing at the moment. And I would say in this situation, just look to each other as contenders on the last lap.
Well, as usual, you're dead on. The gap's 38 seconds. Ollie, the gap has gone right out to nearly 40 seconds now.
Yeah, surprising. I mean, I think Max Brandl was pushing pretty hard. The heat just got to him a little bit, just that gap. You can tell, you can always tell how the pace is on with how big this group is. Once it starts to split, you know that someone's driving it and the pressure's on, but you see again, it's all back together. Then they all start tripping each other up, whereas these front two working seamlessly together, super smooth.
It's a long transition at the bottom of this course. Through the line.
Unbelievable speed as they come across the line, the two of those Specialized riders.
Really important today as well. It's hot, but also it's very humid. Still that humidity in the air, and it's really important for the guys to keep their core body temp. The Specialized riders have gone off so hot that it's really important they keep drinking, keep doing the basics now. Keeping the body temp cool, pouring water on themselves, whether it's ice down the top of the jersey. You see Azaro soaking himself.
Well, the pack crosses the line and starts lap 5 out of 9 as they continue their as yet unsuccessful hunt of the Specialized Factory Racing pairing of Christopher Blevins and Victor Koretzky. Here they are, your leaders. Blevins, the winner of the short track yesterday, leads the way.
That was a really big lap. It was just coming back to 20 seconds when Brandel was pushing, but now it's gone back out to 45 again. They'll be well out of sight. The big point will be at the top of the climb where they go past the old hotel with the routes. If they can be out of sight there, that will be massive psychological.
If they get out of the visual reference, and Martin Vidal moving up now.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of just putting everybody off, just leaving, just rolling a little bit, but not really pushing. Yeah, doing a fantastic job.
If you are on this group by now, 35, 36 minutes of racing, if you have the legs, it's good if you go.
I mean, I would be, as a matter of urgency, to get myself around Martin Viduri before this climb. Otherwise, he's just going to park up a little bit and roll.
Here is the group. It's still all action behind them, you know, and Vidari still working away in the Chilean national champions jersey.
Yeah, Filippo Colombo's just working his way through consistent rate. Didn't have obviously mechanical in the short track, so he was a way back, but he's had to work his way through.
Now, Filippo Colombo, after a really poor start by his standards.
Mechanical, he lost his saddle in the short track, so didn't finish that one, so he was having to start quite a way back. 26th on the grid, it took him a while to work his way through and didn't have an opportunity to get with the Specialized guys, but obviously won the Cape Epic with Nino, his teammate, and you know, if you can recover from that one, you're going to be really strong. Ooh. And it's Pastor Skalinski, 11th place now.
I'm starting to get nervous, guys.
Henry's shaking.
I thought you'd gone a bit quiet there for a second.
Also, dream would be an ideal performance for him today. If he got a top 10, would be a win.
The season goal, it's a top 10, so
11th.
He's in touch.
Yeah.
Chris Blevins has never done a UCI cross-country World Cup double. Victor Koretzky did one last season back in Lake Placid.
Yeah, Lucas Schwarzbauer and Canyon up to 7th now.
Good to see.
Yeah. He had a year last year. We went from being the king of the short track to then the Olympics, I think, was stretching him towards more endurance for the cross-country. And he had a good year, very consistent, but
look at the gulf in the first laps between the Specialized pairing. Look how close they were together, and look at the gap back to Andreasen in terms of lap time.
Bananas how quick that.
Schurter 4th on that fastest lap graphic, but still nowhere to be seen towards the front of this one. He's currently circulating in 26, so he is moving back forward, but he's still, the gap between him and the front is still holding at just over a minute and 7 seconds. So as the riders in front of him are dropping back down, Nino Schurter's continue to hold station.
That's the point where the race is going to get heavy. We can see on the chasing group it is stretching a little bit more now. So Nino, even if he's like on lower in the rankings, maybe there was a crash from Andres or something, he still has a chance to move up.
But it's Filippo Colombo now. He's putting the pressure on. He's hit the front. I don't think he's going to hang around and wait. And he's starting to then stretch this group out. The gap's coming back to 30 seconds now.
What a start to the 35th season of UCI World Cup racing. Filippo Colombo, as all he says, is up the front here, having a good go at it.
He's pushing on now. Legs are good. He's got a bit of clear track, and now he can just keep stretching everyone. The gaps are now appearing. Avendetto.
But look who sat behind him, Martin Vidari, another Specialized Factory racing rider.
But he was having to work pretty hard to hold onto the back wheel of Colombo.
Filippo Colombo, he turned the disappointment of missing out on being part of the Swiss team at the Olympic Games last season into a really strong...
1 second. Come on, boys. Push the down.
into a really strong second half of the year. One Cape Epic from Nino Schurter to start this season. Koretzky and Blevins. Blevins and Koretzky. Pick a winner out of these two. We're getting deep into this one, lap 5 out of 9.
But Colombo's coming. Filippo Colombo from Scott Schramm, whether he's going to run out of track, but he's so strong.
34 seconds back. It's a big ask, but if anyone has the reserves of horsepower, it may well be him.
Blevins is looking really good right now. He seems like to have a sharp pedal stroke at the moment. Maybe he just like struggled for half a lap or during one lap, and he seems to be better now.
And Henrik, tell us about that as a cross-country rider. It can ebb and flow, can't it, your reserves of energy?
Yeah, you ride so close to your like limit that at times you just go slightly over it, and you need like to find a better balance on course, on how you managing your energy. So perhaps that what just happened, and also the speed, it's not that high. So if the temperature, the outside temperature just varies just a little bit, maybe it's 1 or 2 degrees, maybe the sun is out, or maybe the wind starts like blowing, that could affect, you know, and you could just come around from one lap to another.
What we saw there in the Whoop Live data, Victor Koretzky revving slightly lower than Chris Blevins. Is Blevins emptying the tank here in his efforts to stay ahead of the fast Frenchman?
Yeah, and obviously Filippo Colombo was 2/3 at the opening race in Brazil last year. And like I say, it's crazy he didn't make it to that selection for the Swiss, but... Oof.
Here we go, Vidari swings left. Is he just going to block off? Filippo Colombo does indeed. So now Specialized 1, 2 and 3 in the race, and you can bet your mortgage that Martin Vidari is not going to continue this charge forward.
He won't be sprinting up this hill, that's for sure. You see just parking up, relaxing a little bit.
I mean, everything's relative, but
relatively parking up.
He's not charging. He's not charging.
Not doing 800 watts.
Really, really fascinating race here in Araxá, round 1. And now this pack need to get past Martin Vidari.
And that's super frustrating. If you do some work like trying to close the gap, and then someone just like destroy all your hard work, this is super frustrating during the race.
You gain 5 seconds, and then you lose 5 seconds straight away.
You at home can't see Henrik's face as he was describing that. It was as if all the energy was flowing out of him. It was like, no, let me go, let me go.
I got some flashbacks.
But again, that's the key part of cross-country. It's when you get into these back end of the laps, the core body temperature, everything is working hard. It's so easy. You work so hard on one climb, and then you just throw it away with a silly mistake on a route or a clip out.
Who were the strongest team units you both raced against? Was there a force like this whenever you were at it?
I never saw something like that, to be honest. We had in the past like BMC as a very, very strong team. I think our team, our former Canadair Factory Racing was super solid, but to ride together to win, this is mind-blowing.
I remember when I've seen this before now a little bit, was Cannondale when we had Roel Paulison, Christophe Souza, both on the original Cannondale team. And I remember in Houffalize, classic venue in Belgium, and them going, I don't know if they finished in the position, but they were charging just like this. And that was a strong couple of teammates. They were really strong for a couple of years.
I also now wish that you could see the look on Ollie's face as he recalled his happy times in Houffalize.
They weren't happy. I spent the day just getting my head kicked in, I think. So
well, we've all
I'd love to say I was in the mix, but I was probably off the back of the good guys, as per normal, as Simon Burney would quote my career, and then just sitting there at about 10th or 12th, probably.
Well, we've all had our heads kicked in Belgium at some stage or another. Lucas Schwarzbarlow leads them across the line on to lap 6 out of 9. 47 seconds, the difference between Lucas Schwarzbauer and the leader of this race, Victor Koretzky, who is clocking on the same split as Christopher Blevins currently. It's been a long, long time since the sport has seen anything like this.
Yeah, lap 5 as well, fastest laps. Koretzky and Blevins did a good lap this one.
And I mean, whoever, and I'm going to go ahead and assume it's one of these two, is more than likely going to taste victory today. They are going to put themselves equal with some big names. We'll dive into those names slightly later as this group continues to battle. There's Alex Malakarne.
Amazing how big this group is. Later on in the race, we're lap 6 of 9. And we got a dozen guys here.
Two very different things and unusual things. Two riders riding away so early in the race, and also such a big chasing group.
Both unusual, unheard of. And here we go, the fight again for this climb. Every lap we see it. Good to see Lukas Schwarzbauer at the front of this group.
Another unusual thing, it's Lukas Schwarzbauer having a patience to, you know, like sitting on the wheels and moving to the front towards the end. Oh, a little bit of a...
Yeah, a bit of a pile-up. Vidari getting tangled out now. Specialised rider just getting juggled further back the pack, and is that going to be the green light for the front of this group to really attack now?
It makes such a difference to position when you come into that climb. You see Lukas Schwarzbauer and Zaro just rolling at their own speed. Simon Andreasen got caught out, that pushing him. He's now trying to use energy to move up the outside to move forward, where it's a lot looser.
Sometimes it's just better to invest early and throw away some energy before, but be in a safe place.
Yeah. That's one of those key sections for me. When you're in a big group, that's a priority to get into that climb.
Have you... Galinsky now, 13th currently. Olivier Pereira in 16th, Alex Malakarne in 18th. Brazilians going well here.
3 Brazilians inside the top 20. That would be new. Only Galinsky had top 20 last year on the elite ranking, so that would be one of the best Brazilian performances ever.
Yeah, and it's cool when you get a country that gets that strength in depth, and then the riders start fighting at every national amongst themselves, then the level ends up rising.
Yeah.
Only 2 Brazilians have ever scored an elite cross-country Olympic podium. Jacqueline Moraes, 2005, and a certain Henrik Avancini on 9 separate occasions. Specialized still being roared on here.
And it's good news for them, 45 seconds. You know, there was a time when it was slipping to 20, and if you'd heard that after all the effort you were putting in, you know, it was a real pivotal moment. The heads might have dropped a little bit.
I think that Martin Vidari has played an absolute blinder here today. He's just been the fly in the ointment at the front of that group that stopped them organising and unionising and getting forward to get to that lead in 2.
And also gives you the confidence during the race that I'm doing my job and I can save the legs. I don't need to do the work. I'm just here like to be efficient and to frustrate people. And towards the end, he could like make a move on the last half lap and still be on the podium.
Dario Lillo, 14th place for him on his elite debut, excuse me. Really strong ride. Simon Andreasen now down in 17th position, so the Dane not looking likely to make it 2 on the bounce here in Araxá.
Yeah, Nino up to 20th now.
And still just 1 minute behind.
Yeah,
so he's pretty much
exactly
like riding on the at the same pace as Blevins and Koretzky.
That's, yeah, something must have happened somewhere at the start of this race then, because the pace is good from Nino.
Yeah, Adrian Brochy as well, specialised rider, who did that false start yesterday in the short track. Caused him chaos.
Well, we're hearing the news. Charlie Aldridge is out of this one. There he is, stood with Phil Dixon, team manager. Problems for Aldridge. You have to wonder why he's stopping there. Everything looked to be, or he wasn't pointing anything on the bike or pointed any injuries. Didn't seem to have any dirt on him. Legs just not there, maybe. It's hard to say. Unlikely for Aldridge.
Maybe just overheating. At times he struggles a little bit with the heat, so it could be the case.
I live relatively near him, I understand that.
This pace going off now. Schwarzbauer just applying a bit of pressure, and the gap starting to appear behind Boashi. There's a gap now to Andreato.
Come on, Martin, back to the...
Come on, Martin, back to the front. You hear the shout there. Specialised. Know it's important. Look at the little rock forming on the way out of that corner.
But that was a good pick up there from Mike Specialised performance coach and just saying, just stall it up a little bit. They're now going to have Boashi and they've got Vidari in that front group for Specialised.
And even if he doesn't do that,
yeah,
you know, it creates a stress on the other riders' mind.
Yeah.
Henrik, huge. I mean, we're hearing the chants for all the Brazilian riders here. Alex Malacarne's success last season. What does it mean for the fans to have this round in Brazil? 2 rounds in Brazil, I should say.
Yeah, I think it's so special. We wait for that for so long. We had these 17 years of wait to get the World Cup back in Brazil, and then it happened in 2022. It was huge, and everyone was so impressed with our mountain bike community. So it's great to be back.
Yeah, Brazil hosting a UCI World Cup for the 5th time. 50 seconds now. 5-0 is the gap.
Unreal.
Lapped 6 out of 9. 2/3 race distance, and they're edging towards a minute here. Martin Vidari, Chilean national title holder, in your shot now, has done so much work at the front of this group to foil any attacks, but Lukas Schwarzbauer is driving things on, and if anybody is going to have a good go, the German national champion for Canyon Collective could be that rider. Here they are. Let's have a look. Koretzky just stretching his back out. Blevins looks over, moves past him. That was a mirror image of what they did last lap. Blevins leads for now. These two absolutely inseparable.
Very nice ride by Adrian Burchid so far.
Yeah.
He's been mixing disciplines, doing some road racing early this year.
I spoke to Victor Koretzky earlier in the week, and he was heavily tipping Boashi to have a great season. He said that he burnt himself a bit last year going for the Olympic team and then had to take 6 months out. Won a couple of big road races on the way into this season. I think the second one he won was on the Saturday before he got on the plane to come to Brazil. So maybe making good on that promise we thought we might see from him last year. Here they come. The big red machine out front. Specialized factory racing. Let's see what the gap is. It's 53 seconds on our clocks in the booth, but they're going to come across the line and we'll get an update on that. Beside me, Ollie Beckinsale's shaking his head with disbelief, puffing the cheeks.
Yeah, and I think it was exactly as Henry said earlier, when this race was taking shape, there'll come a point, if the gap gets too big, this group then just go, right, that's done, we're going to race for 3rd.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a podium scrap. So Luca's at the front, but he's not going to drag all these guys round for a lap and then get outdone on the last lap. So I think it's now that it's really suiting the 2 guys out in front. That gap we're just going to see increase, and then these guys having a fight amongst themselves.
As the pack comes round to complete lap 7 out of 9. 3rd place, extremely hard to call. Schwarzbauer, Colombo, Saru, Boashi, Zanotti, Braido, Brandl. Everyone still in there. As we see Saru moving up on the left-hand side from the aerial shot in the national champions jersey of France.
But also Martin Vidari on the outside, so they've specialised not just having the 2 up front, they've got Martin Vidari, Adrian Broschi just going to sit in there disturbing things as well.
There's the young team getting involved at the front of it.
It's a little bit more stretched now, but still too close together.
Yeah.
Mike Posthumus took up the mantle, team manager with 2 rounds to go last season. What a difference he's made.
Wow, Nino's back.
Nino's made this group.
That is absolutely unbelievable as we watch.
Is that Azaro?
Azaro, yeah.
Azaro hitting the deck and is out of this one. Huge impact. You can see all down his right-hand side. Oh, bitter disappointment for Matisse Azaro on the Origin squad. But as unbelievable as it seems, Nino Schurter is back across in the battle for 3rd place. Galinski on our screens is up into 6th now.
Almost more important than Nino being there. Sorry, guys.
The word almost is doing some lifting in that sentence, I'll tell you that for free. Colombo, though, Schurter's teammate at the front now.
But Nino hasn't just made it into this group. He's worked his way through this group already.
He's moving up, yeah.
He's got some legs.
Well, the B-Zone digital show we've been shooting after these races, it's going to be a busy one after this. There's a lot to talk about.
And Madari again back there. Like I say, Colombo will just look behind him. I think he's going to get some help from somebody, and just see Martin Vadari just shaking his head.
Right, I want both of your opinions. Lap 7 out of 9. If we are under team orders here from Specialized Racing, when are the reins let go? When do they just let him race?
Only the last lap.
Last lap?
Last lap.
Only the last lap.
Yeah.
No reason to over-risk things.
Well,
or paper, scissors, stone.
Paper, scissors, stone. Or an old-fashioned Le Mans job where they try and get him to cross the line at exactly the same time.
I hope they don't do that. That'll be gross. I want to see a good scrap.
Oh, I think there'll be a scrap, all right, between these two.
Knowing those two.
The best of teammates, but also the best of rivals. That Specialized, they do a great job at managing that rivalry. A lot of respect, a lot of friendship.
The fact that a load of Koretzky's paint is on the back of Blevins' rear triangle from yesterday probably proves that there's a scrap.
Yeah, the two of them doing extremely well not to take each other out in the short track race whilst in the lead of it. Are we going to see as equally close a finish? Josh Carlson reporting in, and as if this wasn't dramatic enough, some drops of rain out there. Not many, but there are drops. It has got a bit darker at the start-finish line, and that would be...
I feel like Koretzky's just starting to squeeze a little bit.
But look how close Blevins is. Yeah, drops of rain out there, and that would be just about the final card and a dramatic afternoon here in Araxá.
That gap just closing. We're just saying 46 now, so 4 seconds out of the gap. Not loads.
Maybe they're just starting to use this extra time, you know, like to just kind of manage the effort and go against each other on the last lap.
We talk a lot about mountain biking and cycling becoming closer and closer to motorsport in terms of the level of technology and the gaps between the racers, but this is ridiculous at the minute. Luca Braido now up into 3rd place.
Yeah, interesting as well. Luca Braido, 2nd in the Cape Epic, and Colombo winning the Cape Epic alongside Nino. And that 8-day stage race in South Africa only finished a few weeks before this race. And you expect those guys to be a little sluggish, but going to be super strong in the back end.
Nino Schurter in 8th place at the minute. Colombo's partner at the Cape Epic, who took the win. Yeah, Braido 4th in Paris last year. Kind of edging back towards his best, but there's the Brazilian pairing.
Fluke grinding, Andreasen.
This is Braido, how he got into 3rd on foot, just as we saw Sammy Maxwell deploying the...
Oh, Schwarzbauer getting hung up as well.
There's Vadari. Nino looking good as well. Yeah, pace starting to rise now. Starting to fragment. Schwarzbauer struggling to live with it. Fair play to Lucas Schwarzbauer. Yeah. He did some digging at the front of that group. Henrik, you raced against Nino Schurter plenty of times. What is it that makes him such a dominant figure in this sport?
First of all, sorry my language, but it's a tough bastard. He's such a hard competitor, and he loves racing. I think that's the thing. He loves winning, but also he loves racing. So that's why he's in the game for such a long time. And even after like dominating the sport for so many years, he still has this burning passion. And honestly, today I'm so impressed, because coming out of the Epic and winning the Epic, you know, like just a couple of weeks afterwards, and deliver a performance that good, it's impressive.
You've got to think as well, if you're in that group, you've been working hard all afternoon, and all of a sudden Nino Schurter arrives back, you're like, what? We saw that Whoop Live graphic as well. Koretzky continually beaten a bit lower than Blevins here. but the two of them still absolutely nothing to choose between them, Ollie.
No, I mean, even on the course as well, really hard. You know, we saw Blevins had a lap. Maybe he got a little bit hot and was just off the pace a little bit. But he's cooled down now, and they're so close. You know, they obviously will practice together during the week. They'll train together as well, but inseparable at the moment.
Lap 7 out of 9, nearly complete, heading towards the penultimate circuit of this Araxá track as they head onto this really thankless, miserable bit round the lake. Really flat, grassy, full of roots.
It'd be interesting to see now. Now we've got Luca Brido and Colombo, two guys with really big engines, you know, and they're going to wind it up in these last 2 laps.
You would need the sort of engine they put in nuclear submarines to pull back the 51 seconds.
And those guys aren't shy. They're also as well, they're guys that have had podium positions before, so they're not looking just to ride for that. They're happy to chase the win.
Look who's in 5th though, Martin Vidari, still having a great ride for Specialized Racing.
That's a strong group.
Yeah, but it's starting to split now. That you can see there's proper pressure on the front now.
And you have to say, one of the rides of the day, Nino Schurter, 8th place.
So when he came through, the first time we saw him is he lost just over a minute at the start finish. And when he came through, he was on a mission. You could see he went straight past the group, not hanging around. And that gap's probably going to be, he's almost been the fastest rider on the circuit.
Penultimate lap then, lap 8 out of 9 underway. The gap 52 seconds from the Specialized pairing that have led for the entirety of this race. You couldn't get cigarette paper between them. And we are heading to the sharp end of things, where there will be a titanic battle for round 1 of this season's UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup. There's Brido, Colombo alongside him, their teammate Martin Vidari in 3rd.
And so Brazil is inside the top 10 at the moment. Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Look at that for a fast group of riders.
And it's the 2 Scott Schramm, Colombo and Nino hitting the front now.
.54 seconds.
54 seconds.
But we saw it again, that gap just, Brido pushed on, and then as soon as they hit the flat, they all looked at each other. He took a gel, and then it went back again. They gain 5, they lose 5.
That is now a race for 3rd, isn't it?
I would have thought so, yeah.
That is going to be where that battle is going to be about.
Koretzky 11th place at the moment. We heard from the boss man chasing the top 10.
Sweaty hands for some reason that I can explain. Nino Schurter, the fastest rider on course on lap 7.
Yep.
Just a little gap now appearing between Koretzky and Blevins.
Looking greasy on that climb. Martin Whiteley, our in-house stats expert, has been on. In 35 years, 21 men have won the opening round. Both Koretzky and Blevins are in that group.
Wow, but it's splitting. This is it.
This is it. Here we go. Koretzky looking like he's starting to build a gap ahead of Christopher Blevins. 3 seconds on our screens as this group hits the woods, and it's Martin Vidari at the front of it.
And Boishy. 2 Specialized riders hitting the front, chaos behind.
Struggling to keep up with this one. 4 Specialized Racing riders right at the very front of it. We need to get back to that battle for the lead. Has Victor Koretzky pulled the pin here and dropped Christopher Blevins?
Interesting to see as well if they've let Vidari, who've taken the lead off.
They've just let him go.
Yeah, I think they have.
So much happening right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This could be it. This could be the race-defining half lap. Joshua DeBow working hard in your shot now for Decathlon Ford.
Simon Andreasen dropping back as well, just at the back of this group.
Winner here last year.
I'm seeing 5 seconds between Koretzky and Blevins on my screen. There's your race leader, the first, oh, sorry. That's Chris Blevins, so 5 seconds back off Koretzky. And the first time we've seen these two separated on track all race long. Is this going to be the race-winning move? Victor Koretzky has attacked his teammate on lap 8 out of 9, and he's going to go long, Ollie.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Blevins now, he's got to regroup. They've got a decent gap, but they're charging from behind.
Henrik, what's your view on this? Is this too much too soon, or is this perfectly timed from Koretzky?
Well, he's stronger. He seemed to be like strong on that first piece of the course, and Blevins was slightly fast at the back end of the lap. So let's see what happens now. But if he keeps like building the gap like he's doing right now, I think that's going his way.
It's 8 seconds.
Yeah.
It's 3 seconds more than it was just 1 sector ago. But Blevins still looking comfortable, still looking good. And look at this battle royale behind them.
Chaos behind.
What a race.
Vidari and Boischi, Specialized Factory Racing, 1, 2, 3, 4.
But looking at that group, I think the two Specialized riders are now allowed to race. Yeah, they're going to take it on.
This is it. They've taken the lead off, as you say, Ollie. The dogs are off.
Still in touch, huh? Still in touch.
Yeah.
He still can see Koretzky in front of him.
8 seconds. This one on a knife edge. Whatever Christopher Blevins does next will decide it. You get the feeling. Oh, heavy contact from Koretzky there. We had last lap drama here last time we were here last season when Koretzky lost the race. His chain came off.
Yeah.
Down to 7.
Down to 7.
Yeah, we got that impression that Koretzky was that bit stronger on the climb. Blevin on the descent. Be interested to see how much he can pull back during this.
Koretzky looks like he's having a real go down that descent.
Just how deep they go into that off the jump.
This is it. They are going for it now. Blevins still looks pretty comfortable, though. There's Koretzky up the top of the climb. Christopher Blevins trying to match him pedal stroke for pedal stroke. 7 seconds on our clocks. What's it going to say as they come through here? 7 seconds holding now.
But Koretzky, it's how strong he is on those little short kind of 10-second kicks. He's got that pure sprint power. And then he can recover and go again. It's why he's so successful in the short tracks as well.
Koretzky machining his way down towards the rock section. Where is his teammate? It's a tough day for Trek Factory Racing at the other end of things. 48, 49 position for Amos and Gunnar Holmgren. Meanwhile, Specialized, Boischi versus Vidari. That would be a battle worth watching by itself. And who's behind them? The GOAT, Nino Schurter.
And Matthias Flucking are coming through as well now. He was back in the 20s at one point.
He was struggling the whole race in the tail of the group.
It's like somebody's just shuffled the playlist all of a sudden and we're trying to struggle to keep up with it.
But that's the thing with those old dogs, experienced riders. They can sense when it's the real moment to charge.
And you said it yourself, fairly tough as well.
6 now to Blevins. He's just pulled back a couple on that descent.
Chris Blevins ain't done here. Look at the Whoop Live, 168 plays, 189, both of them well into the red zone.
Yeah, it's max time now.
This is it, they're heading towards it. Blevins. And they're still fighting there, you know. Henrik, how impressive has the show been that these two have put on today?
8 laps later, I'm still shocked.
You came in and you were shocked and you're still shocked now. Blevins sits down, heads into the jump line. 6 seconds on our clocks. Look at him, just nose bonking through the tabletops, over the bridge like it's nothing. Like Evel Knievel over a load of buses.
On our last, when we went back to that last group, it's not just a 1-2 Specialized, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it still is at the moment.
Both of these riders know what it feels like to win the opening UCI World Cup of the season. Henrik Avancini shrugs, he doesn't even know. You've got words anymore. Here they come. Be interesting to see the pace Koretzky applies from here on this lap.
But let's remind ourselves as well, Nino Schurter, I don't know, it must have been a mechanical, a flat or something.
He was 44th at one stage.
A minute back. He's still now basically a minute back. He had to come through those guys, get back to the front. Yeah.
And
what can you say?
It's not just like the time he lost, but also like all the overtakes that you need to do.
So inefficient.
Yeah, exactly.
7 seconds. Koretzky looks again. Head down. How do you play this one? How do you play this last lap of your Victor Koretzky?
TT.
TT, take it on.
Yeah. Time trial it is. Every inch of this track is going to come into play on the last lap here at round 1 of the UCI World Cup in Araxá. Viktor Koretzky will hear the bell. He takes a drink. It's now up to him. This is goosebumps stuff as Christopher Blevins goes on the hunt of his teammate Viktor Koretzky. They've been inseparable all race long. It is all going to come down to this final lap.
What was interesting to say, I saw Blevins had a really good hard stare to the right just to see who was coming, what was going on.
It's 9 seconds now, 9 seconds after that flat section, so Blevins has work to do as things stand. This is going to be one of the longest laps of Viktor Koretzky's career, of one of the shortest tracks he's likely to race on. Has a look over his right shoulder.
But you can see as well that rain that's fallen. Everything's just that bit greasy now, a bit slippery.
He will be trying to force memories of that mechanical incident on the last lap here out of his head from last season.
It was on that climb.
Here we go. Look who's at the front of this one. The young team, Boishy and Martin Vidari lead them across the line. Nino Schurter's with them.
Yeah, this race for third's going to be...
We're going to have to save a bit in reserve for the race for third. Never mind these guys. Last lap then, 10 seconds is the gap between Viktor Koretzky and Christopher Blevins. Simon Andreasen not going to be his today. The Dane currently in 21st as he heads out on the last lap.
Yeah, interesting to see the fastest lap, that one, Koretzky, but what a big lap for him. You see, it wasn't that Blevins slowed, it was Koretzky that accelerated. He took 9-10 seconds out of everyone in that lap.
4 Specialized riders inside the top 6 in that.
Yeah, big lap. Big lap for Koretzky.
Flukiger now back to 7th. Ahead of Filippo Colombo, Lars Forster in 9th, Luca Braido in 10th.
Well, if Nino pulls a podium out of this one.
Impressive.
Wow.
3 Brazilians in the top 15, Henrik.
That's historic, yeah.
Here we go. Let's get an update on the gap. Koretzky, it says 10 seconds.
17 now.
17, that could be all she wrote.
That last lap, and like we saw from the stats, it was Blevins had a good lap, but it was Koretzky really nailed it.
But look, we've been here before. Viktor Koretzky had a commanding lead this time last year.
Nino moving up on that group now.
If Nino Schurter gets on the podium today, it will be one of the most impressive rides I've ever seen him do, and that is saying something.
But this big group's been amazing. As Flukinger's come back in, we've now got Lars Foster, who hasn't even been in the race, now up into 6th. This is nuts.
I think it's fair to say the back of our chairs haven't been touched in the commentary booth since this one got underway.
Flukiger, Foster, and also Boishy, they all prepared for the season doing some road races.
Yeah.
They were racing against each other early in the season on a very cold weather.
Look at this. Brazilians 12th, 13th, 15th, all comfortably inside the top 20. That would send the crowd here through the roof. And on that note, Brazil's famous song, Henrik Avancini, is needed elsewhere. Do you want me to tell them that you've gone somewhere else and you can stay here and watch this with us?
I'm going to the crowd, sorry.
Thank you very much, Henrik, for all your time. Listen to them roared on now. Specialized. First, second, third, and 4th.
And Vidari, whether Boishy just let the gap go then, or the legs are starting to go, but he's forced Nino to come round.
Nino Schurter attacks Adrien Boishy now. Adrien Boishy, who probably was just about born whenever Nino Schurter had his first season, and look who's in front of him. Vidari's gone off the front. Martin Vidari, the Chilean national champion.
Forster's gone for the cross. He's off the bike and on.
Specialized 1, 2, and 3 as it stands, with Nino Schurter in the mix.
And that fastest lap time, lap 1, Blevin 8:27. Koretzky 8:27. Wow.
Ooh.
So Boishy back to 5th. He just got shuffled out on the big route section.
16 seconds now the gap between Koretzky and Blevins, but we've been here before. We've been on the last lap in Araxá with Viktor Koretzky when disaster has struck.
Oh,
Do not take this one as they go free wide into this descent. The Brazilians are coming alive at the back end of this top 20 and are on the hunt for positions.
Yeah, Koretzky 11th. From Caloi, Henrik Avancini racing. Who's he?
I don't know. Tell you what, he's going to be right down amongst it, whoever he is. Here we go, Victor Koretzky down through the descent. You can see it's getting a little bit greasier in there. Whoa, getting a wee bobble.
He'll be
Gets
happy
away with it for the last time.
Happy to have ticked that one off.
Blevins is now taking 2 seconds out of it. It's not an air conditioner, it's oxygen tanks we need in the commentary booth at the minute. Victor Koretzky, look at the power up that climb.
Wow.
"13 seconds now to Blevins. So Blevins, he's chipping away at this. He hasn't got much racetrack left to do it in. Vidari still in third. He's 1 second ahead of the greatest of all time, Nino Schurter. Colombo just skimming that tree on the way through that left-hander.
Oh, just going to go to the line.
Vidari under pressure from Nino Schurter now. Listen to Mike Posthumus roaring his rider on. That would get me moving.
Vidari, Nino Schurter, Lars Forster, Colombo, Boischi, Saru.
UCI cross-country World Cup race. There's never been closer than this. This is ridiculous. 9 laps in here in Araxá. Victor Koretzky, it's 12 seconds to Blevins now. Blevins is coming. One mistake here from Victor Koretzky could be disastrous. And this is the section of track where that exact scenario went down last season. Up this next climb.
One more climb to go.
Lightning surely can't strike twice for Victor Koretzky on this climb in Araxá. He looks left, tries to put it out of his mind. This is it.
The power's still there. Cress's top one.
There's Blevins.
Shoot down.
There's Blevins. They're nearly back in the same shot. Can Christopher Blevins close off a 16-second gap on the last lap here in Araxá? Or has Victor Koretzky timed this attack to perfection? I can tell you, it's still specialised 1, 2, 3 as well. Vidari, Schurter, Forster, your top 5, but you can't take your eyes off the front of it.
Yeah, that fight for third, 44 seconds now. Really the speed of that group.
Victor Koretzky still holding off Christopher Blevins. He's just out of sight for the time being. The deep breath before the plunge. This is it. Over the bridge, and now it is time to put whatever is left inside Victor Koretzky into the pedals. 11 seconds to Blevins. He's going to run on a track, Ollie.
Wow. No, this is done, but what an amazing performance from Specialized and as well from Victor Koretzky. I've never seen anything go from start to finish. From the first climb, these guys took it on.
First time a team has locked out the top 3, potentially in the elite men's cross-country Olympic distance. Martin Vidari, you got to take your hat off to him. All of the top 10 have ridden out of their skin today. None more so than this man, Victor Koretzky. Ducks the head, starts to realise what he's accomplished. A long-range attack after some formation flying will do nicely. Victor Koretzky licks his lips and heads for home. The Frenchman set to take home one of the most remarkable season openers we have ever seen. Victor Koretzky does the job in Araxá. What a race. Specialized factory racing. It doesn't get better. But where is third place going to come from? This battle is going to be absolutely insane for the line. These two could get run over.
Get out the way.
What camaraderie between them, but we need to see that battle behind them. Who's going to take third place? As we look out the commentary booth window, it's going to be Martin Vidari, the Chilean, home in third place. Specialised Factory Racing, do the triple. 1, 2, 3. Victor Koretzky can't believe it. Chris Blevins can't believe it. And a very excited Martin Vidari will not be able to believe it either. What a race. The Brazilians home in 11th, 12th and 13th. Malacarne, Javier de Olivier Pereira and Bastos Galinski. We knew it was going to be special, but nothing could have prepared us for this.
I've never seen anything like that.
Cross-country mountain biking at its very best here in Araxá. Adrien Boissy wants to celebrate with his teammates. He came, it's a photo for 7th between him and Jordan Saru. That result yet to be declared.
Wow. 1, 2, 3. Specialised factory racing.
The big red machine out front.
That is the most impressive team performance I've ever seen in mountain
The rest of the UCI World Cup cross-country teams have a question to answer for next weekend, and that question begins with a big red S.
Wow. Let's go back. Nino Schurter, 5th place. Losing a minute, we think, for a flat tyre, coming back through to contest that sprint for 3rd. The GOAT's not done.
Nino Schurter, home for 5th, having been out the back of the top 40 at one stage. Alan Murchison celebrates. Never have we seen anything like this. Blevins versus Koretzky, Koretzky versus Blevins. Vidari versus the rest of the world behind him was worth the ticket price alone. They were good at the start of last season. They've been spellbinding today. I hope the Grand Hotel in Araxá are making the phone calls and getting a few more barmen in tonight. This one will be well celebrated. Koretzky then wins by 10 seconds from his teammates, Blevins, Vidari. Forster in 4th. Nino Schurter in 5th, ahead of his teammate Filippo Colombo. Boissy 7th, edging out Jordan Saru. Pull the bones out of that one. Well, there's only one place to start, and that's with Specialized Factory Racing's Victor Koretzky. He's down there now with Ashley Wilmot.
Wow, what a race. Super Sunday for Specialized, but ultimately, Victor Koretzky, it was your race to win, and you went and did that today.
Yeah, Chris was super strong at the beginning of the race. He did a super high pace, and it was difficult to follow him. But then I had a second life on the middle of the race, and yeah, we just did 1 lap each all the time, just to pull each other far as possible. So yeah, he was in good shape, and I just keep my chance at 2 laps to go. We didn't saw it on the TV, but I had a Nicole. I had a flat on the last 2 laps, so it was tricky for me on the downhill. I had maybe less than 1 bar on the rear tire, so I was always far on the front to just preserve my pressure on the back. And yeah, it was tough till the end, but yeah, I managed to finish like this. And like after the last berm, I was confident to cross the line on the first position.
It was quite a battle between you and Christopher Blevins, but when do you stop being teammates and start to be rivals out there?
I think we were all the time teammates. I think the goal was to be till the last moment together, just to help each other, because we had a a big gap, but it was even more easier to stay on the wheel one lap of two. So yeah, alone I think it was difficult to do it, but together with my teammate it was like a hard pace, like on a training, but it was a race, so it was so cool, and I really enjoyed to share that with him. And at the end I realized Chris Martin was third, so like it's unbelievable, and we did it 1, 2, 3. It was the dream last year, and we did it this year at the first 2025 race of the season. So it's amazing. It's a dream, and yeah.
It is amazing. It is a dream, because actually you've gone and made history today as well. You are the first team to ever get a 1, 2, 3 on a World Cup cross-country Olympic stage. So how does that feel?
I mean, like now it's yeah, for sure it's a bit difficult to have a podium only at 3 rider, but like we all on the first place of the race. So Adrien, I think he finished also on the top 10 at the 7th position. So no, it's an amazing race for the team, and it's an historic day also.
I'm sure big celebrations tonight. Well done.
Thank you.
There is the lap comparison then. Koretzky fastest on lap 1, 5 and 8, and unbelievably, as he just attested to, rode that final lap with next to 0 air in his tyre. Zanotti got one on lap 4, Brandl got lap 3. Just about the only things anyone on any other brand of bike got today. Puntener, Swiss rider, got lap 2. And that's 3 out of 4 of them. Look at Blevins. Where's Martin? Where's Martin? There. Brazilians celebrating with their fans. Galinski. Out of shot, Henrik Avancini frantically hiding his credit card. What a race. Here are the overall standings after 2 races in short track and cross-country Olympic. Koretzky leads the way by 35 points from Blevins. Martin Vidari, their teammate, in 3rd. Lars Forster, the first non-specialised rider, in 4th. Then Schurter in 5th. Salvaged that well, didn't he? The greatest of all time. Luca Braido, List, Zanotti, Flukiger in 14th. Brandl in 15th. Andreasen down 16th, not the start he would have wanted for new Team Marbella. Let's go and hear now from Christopher Blevins. He's down there now.
Chris, what a weekend for you. It's unlike anything we've ever seen before. You were smiling throughout the whole race. Talk us through it from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, the best moment was 1 lap to go. I was cramping a little bit and just couldn't hold Victor's wheel, but then I saw Martin and Adrian 3rd and 4th on the number board, and yeah, it was kind of ridiculous. I just couldn't help but, like, you know, chuckle. It was just brilliant. It felt like a dream out there, you know. Just, you know, didn't see anything other than the lead or Victor's wheel for the entire race. And we just executed it to perfection. You can't really plan those things, but when we get an opportunity like that, we have to seize it, and that's exactly what we did. So just really grateful we had that day, yeah.
We know your teammates, your friends, but you're also rivals. So when does that start to creep in the race?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, it's both at the same time, and today was like the perfect example of Victor and I worked together. It was the best thing we could have done for ourselves and for each other. And then he was just stronger in the end. Martin, you know, MVP, definitely like controlling it from the back, which that is really hard. You know, if anybody who's raced road knows how difficult it is to control a peloton, let alone, you know, over a course like this. So Martin was super strong, and yeah, I mean, the best teammate I could ask for, you know, in the peloton.
Great to talk to you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There you have it. Blevins giving Rider of the Race awards out to his teammate Martin Vidari, who allowed these two to get away and to race their own race. This is the point where Ollie and I genuinely worried they're about to be run over. But after a race like that, you have to celebrate, and how that Specialized team managed to keep the rivalry in check, I don't know, but here's one of them. Man of the match, Martin Vidari.
Martin, congratulations. A historic day for Specialized. Talk us through it from your perspective, with your teammates leading the way today.
Yeah, it's just insane. You know, we just see this team tactics mainly on the road, but man, with the opportunity that Victor and Chris had at the beginning, I was the one to maybe do the job. I just tried to control the race all the time. I felt insane good, but I had that feeling like, man, I need to slow down a little bit the bunch. I need to get my teammates some gap, so I tried to control. Then on the start finish, like the group was so big, like 20 guys. I trying to fight for positions, so I was 5, then fucking 20, then again in the front. It's just so messy, but at the end, I bring it home with a third. My teammates won, but it's just insane to bring us a team, and I sacrificed a little bit to get that gap too.
Apologies for the language, emotions running high here. How much confidence does this give you? Does this give the team heading into a fantastic season we've got ahead?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season. Brazil is always special for me. I really try to prepare this one. So let's see from now on. It's also an individual sport. It's hard to make tactics, but at this course, like when you have the gap, maybe you can go. So we will see. It's just insane. I felt good, and I just can't wait for more or for win this shit one.
A big party for Specialized tonight?
Yeah, let's see. We have another one next week, so I hope we can party maybe in a week.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well, apologies for the language. Martin Vidari overcome with the emotion of it. And we were right. He was controlling that group behind him. How? I don't know. But then there's lots of things about the day I don't really understand. This I kind of do understand. Martin Vidari celebrating with the Chilean fans. They've been chanting his name all week long. Huge, huge star in his homeland. Even more so after today. What a brave and clever ride from that young man. We saw him in the hotel after the short track, and he seemed a bit down the mouth. Wasn't quite the race he'd hoped for, but Mike Posthumus picked him back up. Let's head down, though, to the simply remarkable Nino Schurter is down there with Josh now.
Nino Schurter, that was quite the race to start the season. Talk us through those first couple of laps.
Yeah, I had a perfect start. I was at the front, but Koretzky and Primeira put up quite a speed pace, and yeah, then I made a mistake in the downhill. Had a puncture, yeah, and lost quite a bit. But yeah, quite happy how I came back. But yeah, I was all out for a few laps, so well, yeah, happy with my fifth place.
Tell us what was going through your mind at that stage. Did it take the pressure off, or did it just make you angry?
Yeah, at first when I saw I was 36th or so, I was like, okay, maybe it's better to take an easy day. But then, yeah, I got slowly into it. And then all of a sudden, so there's a group for 3. And yeah, I got some fire again.
How was the crowd out there? We could hear the crowd erupting. We knew exactly where you were at all times. How did you feel when you could hear those cheers and that energy?
Yeah, it's really cool to race here. It's awesome to feel the support. Yeah, it helps so much to push harder, and it was good. Yeah.
Well done, mate. We'll see you next weekend.
Thank you.
It simply wasn't in him to take it easy today. That puncture explains why we saw Schurter rattle down the order early doors, and we could see that the lap times, the pace was there. What could have been if it wasn't for that. For Nino Schurter, as we get ready for the podium, and a historic podium it is going to be too. Martin Vidari. Chris Blevins said he was the rider of the day for him, MVP.
This side.
And this is a little bit of history, noisy history. As Specialized Factory Racing become the first team in cross-country UCI World Cup history to lock out a podium. Martin Vidari gets his cuddly capybara. The drums actually got a picture of him on it. That is staggering fandom right there. Christopher Blevins, his teammate, credited the Chilean with giving him and Victor Koretzky the opportunity to race the way they did. Blevins, second place today. But the winner, Victor Koretzky, takes a frankly phenomenal win here in Araxá. One of the most remarkable UCI World Cup races I think anyone has ever seen. If you work in the specialized marketing department, your Monday is looking pretty cruisy. That one writes itself. Specialized Factory Racing lock out the podium. Forster and Schurter run on. Koretzky, Blevins, Vidari, Forster, Schurter, your top five. Filippo Colombo, Boischi, Saru, Schwarzbauer, and look at that, Javier d'Olivier Pereira up in 10th place. Alex Malacarne in 11th, Galinski in 12th, Flukiger in 13th, Andreasen down in 21st, Simone Avendetto 22nd. Dubois 35th. Top 40, covered by nearly 4 minutes. Such was the pace of Koretzky and Blevins. The Chilean fans catching the capybara. Let's have a look at what all this means, though. It's Martin Vidari's mother celebrating with them down there. Let's have a look at what it all means for the overall standings then. Victor Koretzky leads the way ahead of Christopher Blevins. Martin Vidari in third. Forster and Schurter, the Swiss pair, in fourth and fifth. Then Saru, Colombo, Boischi, Schwarzbauer, Lilo, Brido, List, Zanotti, Flukiger, Brandl, Andreasen, Malacarne, Bastos, Galinski, and Xavier d'Olivier Pereira. Luke Moyer rounds out the top 20. Great start to the year from the South African. Charlie Aldridge down in 41st after that DNF today. The start of the year, he or Cannondale Factory Racing will have been looking for. Riley Amos, similar story in 55th. Was down hard somewhere out there. The other Cannondale Factory Racing rider, Punchard, 60th in the overall after 2-point scoring opportunities. So work to be done for some teams. Well, work to be done for every team who isn't specialised. Nino Schurter celebrating with the fans. Hugely well supported here in South America, as always. As he is just about everywhere that we go to. As we await the overall points leaders jersey to be awarded. And it will be awarded. Bit of a spoiler there, but fairly straightforward one to guess. Victor Koretzky. Ollie and I both commented earlier in the week that he seemed like a different Victor Koretzky in and around the hotel. Just relaxed. Chilling out. Pressure off after the Olympic year. Well at home on specialised factory racing. Very little to prove to anyone now. Koretzky. And that can make a rider all the more dangerous. Victor Koretzky into the red jersey then that he will take into next week's race as the overall points leader. Not a massive departure from his regular team kit.
It's like a little game.
Yeah. Okay.
Victor Koretzky back on the top step off the podium as the overall points leader. Class act. Class of the field today. Went long in the end to get that victory over Christopher Blevins. Blevins put up a brave defence, but there was no stopping the man from Béziers. Koretzky departs the podium. He will be back for plenty more in the not too distant future in the shadow of this pace. Friday and Saturday next week, the UCI Cross Country World Cup roars back into life. Round 2 of the short track and cross country Olympic races coming to you. And if they're anything as good as that, which I suspect they will be, they'll be worth watching.
Like it or not.